What's up guys? In the last video I started to prep the engine bay on the MR2 to get it ready for paint. There's still a lot that needs to be done, and today I'm going to be working on some of that. And then also, as you guys saw, got this back piece cut out right here because we're clearing up some room for activities later on. But earlier today I went and picked up some paint. So in these two cans right here, these are the color match paint to my car. So this is like the Toyota Super White. This is 040 is the paint code. So I got two cans of that right there for when we go to paint the engine bay. And then I also got this filler primer in case I need to sand anything down, but this stuff will lay down nice and thick, and then I can sand if I need to, but I probably won't need to sand anything. I'm not sure if I'll need another can of that or not. And then I also have this can of 2K clear, same stuff I used on Wago, and you guys were warning me that I needed to use a mask when using this, which I will definitely do this time. And yeah, so I got the paint, and then we also just have some various sanding blocks, sandpaper, masking tape, and some Scotch-Brite. And what we need to do is completely scuff the engine bay down, and I also need to weld this mount right here still, get these two welded. And then there's also like these little studs that are sticking off right here. I think these were for the factory like firewall blanket that went right here, but I took all that stuff off. So I'm gonna be cutting a lot of these little studs off and grinding those flat. And then there's still some lines down here, like the e-brake cable line is right there, and then a line is also right there. I don't know what that's for. I need to unbolt all that stuff and get it all out of the way so we can start masking some stuff off. And then this K-member right here, I'm gonna be painting that black, and I'm gonna mask it off out of the way while I do the engine bay, and I'll probably just do that last, but I will be painting that as well. And then I also wanna clean up the edges of this piece that we cut out last night. I think I'm gonna go a little higher right here because it has this weird spot where it's just looks weird with the sheet metal right in this spot right here. So I just want to take that up higher so I can get rid of that, make it look a little nicer. And then this part is still really strong. I didn't cut any of the structural integrity out of the car, but when I do cut this higher, the only thing I'm not going to be able to reuse is the hood latch right here, the factory one. So I'm going to have to get some pins or Zeus clips or something so I can clip the engine lid back on later on. But yeah, that's enough of that. We're gonna go ahead and start sanding this thing down. Shane's gonna be helping me knock it out because, you know, he knows a thing or two about sanding after doing his CRX. I think he's ready for another 10 hours of sanding straight on this thing.
Yeah, right? It doesn't need that much sanding.
No, it doesn't need nearly as much as your car. But yeah, Shane's just gonna help me scuff everything up, and we'll see how far we can get on this thing today. All right, so not sure where we left off, but it is the next day, and we got a whole bunch done on the engine bay for the MR2. So Shane helped me yesterday get this completely sanded down. I got a whole bunch of tabs cut off that I didn't need, a whole bunch of little studs on that back firewall piece I cut off because we didn't need those. And as you can tell, I have it completely masked off. Everything that I care about getting overspray on, I got taped off. And there's some things that I don't care about getting overspray on, like this K-member down here. I'm gonna be repainting that later, so I'm not really worried about that if it gets some paint on it. And then some of the bottoms of the wheels and tires are showing, and not too worried about that stuff. I got the back window taped off and everything though, and then the side pieces so I don't get overspray on that. And then I took the bolts off the top of the shock towers right here. I actually need to tape these threads off right there before I start painting. But I am ready to start painting. I got the roll cage completely welded up, so those welds are done back here on each side. I got that motor mount welded back up because the factory spot weld let go on that at some point, and I pushed it back into place, drilled a new hole, re-spot welded it in the middle where the original hole was, and then I also went all the way around it on top and bottom, so that motor mount's not going anywhere anymore. And I also cleaned up this back hole that I cut out quite a bit as well. And then I think I mentioned that there was this like weird spot right here that I wasn't happy with. The sheet metal kind of like came out right here. And what I ended up doing is I cut a slit in it and then I hammered it down. And then I just had these two little slits. There was actually two of them. There's two bumps I wasn't happy with. I cut those, hammered them down, and then re-welded the slit shut because I had to like take a little chunk of metal out because they would overlap after I hammered them. Re-welded those, grinded those nice and flat, and now it is looking much better. So once I paint over that, it is going to be way better than having this big weird bump right here. So I'm really happy with that. And yeah, sorry I didn't film too much of this. I just kind of wanted to knock it out, and it is kind of hard to keep up with filming every little step, but you guys get the idea. Right now I'm at the point to where I'm ready to start priming this thing, and I don't know if I have enough primer. I only have this one can right now, and if we need more, I'll have to get more, but I'm gonna see how much this can will cover, and we'll just go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start priming this engine bay. All right, so I went through that full can of primer, and there are some spots that still need some more coverage. So I'm gonna have to get another can before I start adding color, but I pretty much got it all somewhat covered, besides just a couple spots, like I said, that I wanna go over just a little bit more. And so far, I'm really happy with how the engine bay is coming out. It is looking really clean. So once I get the other can, I will finish up just a couple spots, and then I will sand anything down if needed. But it honestly all looks really smooth to me. Really happy with how it's coming out. And then the spot right here where I welded is looking really nice. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more primer right there, lay it on thick, and then just do my best to sand that out. But you can hardly tell that that bump was even there. And yeah, really happy with that. All right, so it has actually been a couple days since I got the engine bay primed on the MR2. I did go through that first full can of primer, so I had to wait a day before I could get another can because most places were closed over the weekend. But I got some more primer, and I got a second coat on there, and then I just waited a full day for that to dry. And I ended up just kind of taking yesterday off, so that's why this video is going to be delayed. I had a lot more time and prep than I thought on this thing, but I am back. The primer is done. It came out really good. I'm really happy with how it is looking just with the primer, and I'm ready to start adding the color. I already actually started to shoot some right up here just to kind of see what it would look like. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera and start spraying the white everywhere, and then I'll let that set, and we'll see if we can get the clear done today as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting her all painted up. Just got the first coat of white done. She's looking pretty good, but I went through that full can, so I'm just gonna let that dry for a little bit, and then we will go back and I'll use up the second can that I got, and hopefully that should be enough. All right, I just got all the white on there, and it is looking really good. Kind of hard to see, so I'm just using this flashlight, but I'm really happy with how it's coming out. Looking really nice. So now I'm just gonna let all of the color dry for a bit, and then we can go ahead and start adding the clear. But I think it's gonna look really good once it's all said and done, and I'm really happy with how these roll cage bars came out. They look sweet. They almost look like they're factory now, like it came like that. But yeah, it's gonna look awesome once it's done. All right, so I just got done clear coating. I went ahead and pushed the car outside because it is really nice out, nice and sunny and warm, and I figured that would help everything dry up, and it's not windy at all, so I don't have to worry about dust getting stuff blown onto the fresh paint. And yeah, not sure how well you guys can see it, but the clear came out really good. Hopefully it shows up on camera pretty good. It is nice and glossy all the way around. Really happy with how it came out. It's exactly what I wanted, and yeah, super stoked. Looking really good. Might be kind of hard to tell with all the weird shadows we got going on, but I am really happy with how it came out, guys. So I'm just gonna let it sit outside for a while, let it dry off, and then I can push it back in, and the engine bay on the MR2 will be done, and then I can focus on getting that tranny together and then get that motor back in the car. But yeah, super excited. Came out nice. All right, guys, so I got the MR2 pushed back in, and I went ahead and took all of the masking tape off and everything else, besides some tape on these lower lines right there. But really happy with how the engine bay came out once again. And yeah, it is pretty much completely dry. Not sure how well you can see the gloss finish on it right there, but you can see the clear coat right there. Just came out really good, exactly what I wanted. You know, it's not 100% like show car perfect, but I mean, this looks way better than it did before. So super happy with that. And this did definitely take me a little bit longer than I had anticipated. I thought I was gonna be done in like pretty much a day or two, but there was a lot of little things that I, you know, didn't think about. Like I had to do some sheet metal work on that back wall right there because there were some weird lumps I didn't like, and there was a lot of seam sealer on this car. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I ground off a whole bunch of seam sealer. I have hours in that just cleaning up the seam sealer, and then all the little studs I had to cut off, and just a whole bunch of little behind the scenes things, guys. But got it done, and that's why there hasn't been much content the last few days, is because I was just working on this. And I also took yesterday off. I kind of took a break because we've been uploading pretty good recently. So I hope you guys do appreciate that. And I understand this video is probably not super exciting, but you know, you got to get through the not so fun stuff to play later. So engine bay is done though on the MR2. So already said earlier, next step will be to get the motor and tranny joined together. Then we get that in the car and just go from there, get a turbo kit done. And I just want to get this thing running. But that's where she is at for right now. So I think I'm going to call this video for right now. And we'll just see what we got going on later. I do want to do a video of the shopping go-kart here very soon as well, because I know a lot of you guys are waiting for that. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, but I was just hustling on this engine bay, but we got it knocked out, and hard work paid off because it is looking really good. So not bad for a rattle can job at all. And I also wanted to wait a day because I didn't have a mask yet, and I started priming this thing without a mask, and I started breathing all the fumes, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna continue doing that without a mask. So it was the weekend, and the only store that had like a nice mask was closed by the time I got there. So had to wait a day for that as well. But long story short, guys, MR2's bay is done. So it's gonna be it. See you guys later. Peace.